Hey guys, I took a buyer out recently, and by the third house, I could already tell what was going to happen. First house we walked in, it was packed. I mean, packed. Cars up and down the street, people waiting outside like it was a sneaker drop. My buyer looked at me and goes, "Is it always like this?" And I laughed and said, "Hey, welcome to real estate." Second house, the same thing, slightly less people, but now the energy shifts. Now you've got buyers whispering to agents. You've got people measuring walls like they already own it. Someone's mom's in a corner talking about where the Christmas tree is going to be. You already know what's about to happen. By the third house, buyer pulls me aside and goes, "All right, what am I missing? Why do I feel like everyone else knows something I don't?" And that right there, that's the question. That's what we're talking about today. Because the reality is most buyers and sellers feel like they're walking into a game halfway through, like everyone else already knows the rules. And then this kind of reminds me of the gym. So basically, you ever walk into a gym for the first time and everyone looks like they know exactly what's going on? Everybody knows what they're doing. People moving confidently from machine to machine, lifting weights you don't even want to look at. And you're just standing there like, do I start with cardio? Do I stretch? Am I doing this completely wrong? Real estate sometimes feels exactly like that. And today we're going to break it down in a way that actually makes sense. Not textbook, not theory, real world, what's actually happening out there in Philadelphia, the main line, South Jersey, and even the Jersey Shore. Because depending on where you're looking, the rules change. Let's start with what most people don't realize when you're buying a house or selling. You're just dealing with the market. Now, when you're dealing with micro markets, Philadelphia alone is not one market. Center City is different from Northeast Philly. South Philly moves differently than West Philly. Then you jump to the main line. Now you're in a completely different price bracket, different buyer pool, different expectations. South Jersey, different again. Jersey Shore, now you're mixing in second homes, investors, seasonal demands. So when people say, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? I get why they're asking that, but it's almost the wrong question because the better question is where? Now let me bring it back to the buyer I was working with. What he was feeling in those showings, the pressure, the confusion, that feeling like everyone else was ahead of him, that wasn't random, that was inventory. And this is where things get real because people hear low inventory all the time, but they don't actually understand what that means for them. Low inventory doesn't just mean fewer homes. It means more competition per home. Think about it like this. If there were 10 homes on the market and 100 buyers, that's a problem. But if there were 100 houses and 100 buyers, now you've got a balance. Right now, in a lot of areas around Philly and South Jersey, we're closer to that first scenario where the second one, not really so. And it changes everything. It changes how fast you need to move. It changes how strong your offer needs to be. It changes how you even look at houses because now you're not just asking, do I like this house? You're asking, can I compete for this house? And most people don't adjust to that fast enough. That's mistake number one. They walk into a competitive market with a casual mindset. They think they've got time. They think they can sleep on it. Meanwhile, someone else is already writing an offer in the car. And I've seen this play out so many times. Buyer loves a house, wants to think about it overnight. Next day it's gone. Then the frustration starts. Then the why didn't we move faster conversation happens. Now let's flip it for a second because sellers make mistake too. A big one, overpricing. And I get it. Everyone wants to push the number, especially when they hear stories like, my neighbor got 50K over asking. But what they don't see is the full picture. They don't see how that house was priced strategically to create competition. They don't see how many offers came in. They don't even see conditions, the upgrades, the timing. They just see results. So they say, let's just list high. And that is how homes sit. Because even in a strong market, buyers are smart, especially right now. Interest rates are not what they used to be. So buyers are doing more math than ever. They're not just looking at price, they're looking at monthly payments. And this is where things need to get interesting because a house that looks affordable at first glance might not feel that way once the numbers hit. You've got a principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and depending on the property, maybe HOA fees. Now stack that in a different area. For instance, Philadelphia taxes hit differently than the main line. South Jersey property taxes can surprise people. Jersey Shore, you might be dealing with flood insurance, second home rates, all types of variables. So now the same buyer from earlier, he's not just competing with other buyers. He's also trying to stay within a payment that makes sense. And that's where a lot of deals fall apart. Because people focus too much on price and not enough on structure. And this is something most agents don't really go deep into. It's not about what you offer, it's about how you offer. Terms matter. Closing timelines matter. Flexibility matters. I've seen deals won not because they were the highest, but because they were the cleanest. Unnecessary contingencies, strong communication, confidence. Meanwhile, someone else came in higher but complicated everything and lost. That's real. If you want me to analyze deals like make sense for you and compare your area thinking about, comment deal below and I'll go through it with you. Because once you understand how these pieces work together, everything feels less chaotic. Now let's talk about something else people don't expect: emotions. This process is emotional, way more than people think. Buyers get attached fast. Sellers get defensive about their homes. And if they're not careful or you're not careful, emotions will cost you money. I've seen buyers walk away from great deals over small things. I've seen sellers reject strong offers because they think the tone of the voice someone else, they didn't like it, and then they regret it later. You gotta stay grounded. This is a financial decision first. Now, that doesn't mean ignore your feelings. It doesn't mean how you feel doesn't matter, but it does mean balance it with logic. And that's where having the right strategy matters, because strategy removes a lot of guesswork. It gives you clarity. Now, let's go back to a layer deeper. Let's go down a layer deeper. Timing. Timing in real estate is everything, but not in the way people think. People try to time the market like it's stock. They wait for the perfect moment, the lowest rate, the best price. And what usually happens? They wait, and then the market shifts in a different way they didn't even expect. Because markets doesn't move in a straight line, Philadelphia might slow slightly while parts of South Jersey heat up. The main line might hold value differently than other areas. The shore has its own cycle entirely. So instead of trying to time the market perfectly, the better move is to understand your position. Are you buying and selling at the same time? Are you holding long term? Are you investing? Your strategy should match your goal, not headlines. Now let's bring it back again to the buyer I was talking about earlier, the one I mentioned the first time. By the end of the day, after seeing multiple homes, after talking through everything we just went over, his mindset completely changed. He stopped looking at houses casually. He started looking at them strategically. He started asking better questions. Not just, do I like it, but what's going to cost me monthly? How competitive is this price? What are other buyers likely to do here? That's the shift. That's when people start winning. And it doesn't mean every offer gets accepted, but it does mean you're playing the game the right way. And that's alone puts you ahead of most people out there. Because the truth is, most people are guessing. They're reacting instead of planning. They're following what they're hearing instead of understanding what actually is happening. And that's why things feel confusing. But once you break down like this, once you know how inventory, competition, pricing, terms, timing all connects, it starts to make sense. It starts to feel manageable. And more importantly, it starts to feel like something you can actually control. So whenever you're looking in Philly, mainline, South Jersey, or down the shore, the key isn't just finding the right house. It's understanding how to move when you find it, and that's what's most important. Now, let's circle all the way back to the first showing. The crowded house. That moment where my buyer felt like everyone else knew something he didn't. By the end of our time together, he wasn't that guy anymore. He walked in the next showing with confidence. He understood the numbers. He understood competition. He knew exactly what he was looking for. And when the right house came up, and it did, he was ready. That's the difference. So you're feeling like that right now. You're feeling like you're walking in and everyone else is ahead of you. You're not behind. You just haven't had it broken down in the right way yet. And listen, if real estate feels confusing right now, you're not alone. That's why I make these videos. So whether you call me Vlad, Vladimir, or even Vlad the real estate guy, reach out anytime if you need help navigating the market. Talk to you soon.